Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As I said it many times, when you are in a scuffle, in a fight, or as a country or as an individual, you do not want to really be realistic unless you assess the situation for yourself. When you have to inform others about the achievements or losses, you have to play this game. Minimize their achievements, maximize your achievements, maximize their losses, minimize your losses. The problem is when you have spectators, and the spectators are your friends or supporters or even allies, and they start telling the truth that would contradict what really you would say. That is, when I try to minimize my enemy's achievements, my friends actually come and say a different story. Like, hey, actually, these guys have some achievements right there when I said they didn't. This is the case in Ukraine with Great Britain. I noticed in the past, maybe a month, the past month, that the Western sponsors, supporters, NATO, friends, allies, how you want to call them, they started cracking a little bit the door of a balance, or at least the things are so bad over there for the Ukrainians or for NATO, put it that way, that they have to say something. There is, let's say, from 0 to 10, 0 is nothing, 10, the situation is bad over there. I would say, oh, the situation over there is a 6 if the situation is 10. Now, if the situation is 6, I would say is a 3 or 2. Now, if the situation is, let's say, 5, I would say it's a 1. So if these guys are start saying that the situation is a 7, that must be 10 over there. Well, that's just me. We don't have to take my word for it, but maybe life and experience will provide you with this balance in truth telling, especially during wars. Now we have this article from Ukrinform, and we find that the UK intelligence has a very bleak, gloomy, vision report on what's going on in Bakhmut. Yes, Bakhmut again. Bakhmut is going to fall, it seems like, and even the British intelligence is starting to not to acknowledge it, because probably they acknowledged it before, but at least say it out loud. So this article comes from Ukrinform from today, Saturday, from January 21st, 2023. This is the title: Russians likely to advance around Bakhmut, British intelligence says. So when I say likely, probably they're already there and it's already, dead in the water, floating in the river, basically. And there is a realistic possibility of local Russian advances around Bakhmut. This is stated in the British intelligence report published by the UK's Ministry of Defence on Twitter on Saturday. So if they say it, must be true. I mean, they told us about those weapons of mass destruction in Ukraine. Jesus, not yet. In Iraq. So I trust the UK intelligence community as much as I trust the US intelligence community when it's about this kind of information. Anyway, as noted, the heaviest fighting that has focused on in 3 sectors in Donetsk and Zaporozhye regions in recent days. Oh yeah, really? Since I've been in free speech jail, I missed that one, I guess. So Donetsk and Zaporozhye, 3 sectors. At the same time, in the northeast near Kremina, Ukraine has likely made small gains and successfully defended against a Russian counterattack. So let's analyze this little sentence here. Near Kremina, I know in Kremina the Ukrainians were trying to. They were conducting offensive operations. Let's put it this way. The Ukrainians claim they have some success, not much, but they had. The Russians were not having successes of any, to stop the Ukrainians there. Now it says that Ukraine has likely So maybe, possibly like the same thing here. Likely to advance around Bakhmut, likely made small gains. Remember, you were supposed to maximize the gains of Ukraine. And if you say likely made small gains, that means like, I don't know, moved from here to that house over there, I don't know, and then came back. But anyway, I don't know. And successfully defended against a Russia counterattack. So that means it's back and forth. It's not like I'm advancing, or maybe I'm advancing and these guys counterattack. But nevertheless, it seems like things are not settled there. In even in the point on the front where the Ukrainians are doing something of an offensive, attacking. Let's see what's here. Around Donetsk region, in Bakhmut sector, Russian and Wagner proxy forces. Did you hear? So it's Russian and Wagner. There's two different stories here. Forces, not military, not the army. I haven't read about the Russian army being in Ukraine. Please pay attention when they say Russian forces, Russian troops, but not Russian army. It's very interesting. Not very interesting. Pay attention to that. And when you find Russian military in the same sentence with Ukraine, I don't know if you find that one, and I wonder why. So Russian and Wagner proxy forces have likely been reconstituting. Let's try again. Reconstituting. That's how I pronounce it. My bad. In the town of Soledar after capturing it earlier in the week, the British intelligence says. So Soledar fell, according to these guys, right? Let me read this again because I have another article where the Ukrainians claim Soledar did not fall. So let me see what this is by the Ukraine form, and is the British intelligence saying it, that the Russian and Wagner proxy forces have likely been reconstituting, I lost the T, in the town of Soledar after capturing it earlier in the week, the British intelligence says. First time. In the south, in Zaporozhye region, both sides have massed significant forces which have conducted artillery exchanges and skirmishes, but have avoided any large-scale offensive effort for now. And I'm quoting again. Overall, the conflict is in a state of deadlock. However, there is a realistic possibility of local Russian advances around Bakhmut. And quote, the report reads. So this is basically what we need to know. Nothing happens, deadlock, but the Russians are realistic possibility. As reported, Wagner Group lost about 40,000 soldiers in the battles of Bakhmut and Soledar alone, accounting for about 2/3 of this structure. Well, it's very interesting that before the Russians took Soledar, before they took Soledar, they said, or will take Bakhmut, the Ukrainians and the Western friends were claiming that they are not unimportant. Those two cities are unimportant, and they don't even know why the Russians want them. And once they fell, they're like, oh my God, look how many people died over there for nothing. I don't think it was for nothing, and I made a few articles on the Soledar. And now Bakhmut, it seems to be in bad shape, and according to the UK intelligence, which we must believe. All right, this is a little update on what's going on over there from the UK intelligence perspective. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.